Welcome back to Von Laningham's garage. So, back working on the $900 Suburban. I know most of you thought it was probably gone. I hoped it was, for sure. But, we're back. And I'll tell you why. I did put it up for sale. I had a decent amount of interest. I tried to sell it for around 2 months. And then something happened that I really didn't like. So one of the reasons I bought this was that it is a 6.0 swapped Suburban with the 4L80E in it, which is what I was under the impression. But marketplace being marketplace, I should have known better. I should have done more research. This is all on me, and hopefully this is a lesson for y'all out there. But this is not a 6.0. So first off, the plastics. The plastic should have had me second guessing it, because that is a 5.3 engine cover. I just assumed that the 5.3 that used to be in the Suburban, that they took all the plastics off and just left them in the Suburban for the next engine for whatever reason. But turns out this is in fact a 5.3. And I'll throw up a picture of how you can tell, and I wish I would have known this, and I didn't. But a guy that came to look at the Suburban actually was down in the front of the engine taking pictures, and I was kind of wondering what he was doing, sticking his camera down there around, I guess that's like right next to the steering pump, power steering pump. And he came up with a picture, and he showed me a picture of what a 6.0 casting was like. And then he showed me the picture of my engine, which had 4.8/5.3 on it, because they use the same block. So that was very disappointing. He ended up not buying it because the whole reason he had come to look at it was, of course, because it was a 6.0. So there's that, and there's also something else I need to tell you. So if you watched the original series, you'll remember that I had some problems with an injector on this side. Now, I went to replace the injector. I bought the wrong injectors, so I had to buy these neat little adapters that would adapt it, because the ones I had were Delphi, however you say that. The ones I bought on accident were Multec. Coincidentally, Multec injectors are also much shorter than the Delphis. So, as I'm sure some of you may have caught on originally, the Multec don't really fit, and the reason being is if you look up here, you'll see that there is no bolt in that spot where the fuel rail is supposed to bolt to. That is because I did what we call bad mechanicking. So instead of getting the right parts, admitting my mistake, and taking the time and the money and just accepting defeat and getting the right stuff, I said no, I can fix this, which is never a good thing. So instead, I just cut the fuel rails down, cut the where the fuel rails connect to the intake manifold. I cut them off, so the fuel rail would sit low enough that the Multec injectors would seal, or so I thought. And I took zip ties, and I off camera also did put gasket maker around these. Not in the engine or anything like that, but I put it around the openings after I put the injectors in to try and seal it. Believe it or not, it didn't work. So, as I'm sure some of you could have told me, the Suburban acts like it's in limp mode. So when I crank it up, it'll fire right up. And I'm not sure how well you can hear this, but also the RPM gauge and the speedometer gauge are kind of off, so I need to fix those. But if I give it gas, it's acting better right now. It's on high idle, it's giving it extra fuel, but it has miss, a very, very bad miss. It almost acts like it is driving on half the engine, because it basically is. It gets some fuel, I'm sure, but it's sucking in extra air. So I got back on Marketplace, like you do. Somehow managed to find a guy who had not only one set of unmolested fuel rails with fuel injectors in them, by the way, which I don't know, I don't think I'm going to use, but I'll get to that later. Not only the fuel line that goes over the top of the engine, but 2 sets of these, okay? Here's the kicker. All that, oh, here's the hardware. 20 bucks. I paid $12 for shipping. I ended up Venmoing the guy, I think $35 in total. I gave him a little extra just for his time, and because I felt bad taking the stuff. 2 sets of fuel rails. One has all the injectors in it. This one only has 4 or 5. So I got 13 fuel injectors for 35 bucks. That is absolute insanity to me. So I'm definitely going to be going through testing all the injectors. The ones I've got are clean. They got fresh O-rings on them, all that stuff. They are tested and proven, so I'm going to be sticking those in. But I'm going to test these, and if they're good, I'm going to be selling this set of fuel rails and injectors for still really good price, just because I got them. But I'm definitely making my money back on these. So I'm not really spending anything on these parts, which is kind of insane. But I'm going to throw these on now, so let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is obviously take out the problem child, so let's get to work. Okay, so now that we've gotten the, not these, but the other ones off, we've got to deal with these. So, in order for these injectors to come out, all we've got to do is pop off these little retainer clips right here. Go ahead and do that. I found this tool to be nearly invaluable when working on especially this fuel stuff. Oh, there it goes. You wouldn't think it, but even a simple tool as this can really save your neck on a lot of jobs. Grab that other one. So we have all 4. All right. So just gonna pop these out. Oh, come on now. These are super hard to pop out dry. If they give me too much trouble, oof. I've learned, don't use a dry liquid like WD-40 or something like that. Use gasoline. It is expensive, but it is legitimately the best thing for these O-rings, because WD-40 will dry your O-rings up. I can get some gasoline out of this thing. See if this, run that down there will help. There we go. There we go. See, should have done that to begin with, honestly. They still take some force. But not as much. well, come on now. Oh, there we go. Alright, that's one done. Set that off to the side. Save those injectors for later. We'll test them out. Go ahead and start on number 2. This one's got plugs in it still. The guy that I bought these off of said that he just had a bunch of parts that were given to him just kind of laying around, which is why he was selling them so cheap. But he just had them listed as fuel rails, and then whenever I was talking to him, told me that there was 13 injectors with him too, and I could not believe my luck. I thought he was gonna scam me or something, but I sent him 35 bucks and here they are. Alright, got all those out. It's a workout. Alright. Set that off. Now, these are the Delphi. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, Delphi injectors is what I'm going to call them. They're longer than the 5.3s. Ooh, these look disgusting. Never do what I did. But I'm going to go ahead, I won't make you watch all of it, but I'm going to pull these out. It's the exact same process, and then I'll catch back up once I'm sticking everything back in. Okay, now that we got these bad boys back together, let's go throw them in the Suburban. Okay, so assuming we did everything correctly, this should run better. Let's see. I want to prime it once, shut it off, prime it again, just see if I can get some pressure but back up in the fuel rails. And let's start it. Okay, just cranks. Prime the fuel pump a couple more times. And hit it. Let's see what that is all about. Well, I thought I was forgetting something. This little guy right there. Go ahead and get that hooked up. Okay, now that we got that fixed, let's give this one more try. Got plenty of fuel up there. Oh, I see more squirts. Okay, so it seems that I missed this while ago, but I think this is our other culprit. I've already unplugged the vacuum line from it. It wasn't sitting like this. But that is very loose. So I'm about to have to figure out how to get this thing sealed or what's wrong with it. Okay, well, it seems to actually be firing on all cylinders. It's running so well, in fact, that I don't have my tools all in the yard. So I'm going to clean those tools up, shut everything down, and see if I can't take it down to the gas station real quick. Alright, we're gonna try to take a quick rip down at this gas station. Let's see how she does. Not too bad. Let's get on it a little bit. Books like she's supposed to for once. Sweet. All right, one last little pull. Step out on the roadway here. Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, it is a new day. We have a couple more things we want to do to the Suburban before we're done with it. So we're currently heading to the parts store to pick up a couple things. We're back! And we got some stuff. So that actually isn't for the Suburban. Whoops. I got this little battery shut-off switch. I'll explain more about this in a second. The AC doesn't work. It's like kind of a little bit cold, but not really. So I bought some Freon. Hopefully I'll fill it up. It'll work. And it doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell great in there. So we'll see what kind of smell this dragon fruit puts off. I think I found the hookup to the AC, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can't fill it up a little bit. First, we're just going to hook it up and see what kind of reading the gauge will give. She's empty. Well, boys, I found the problem. So, if you'll direct your attention right here, see that pulley down there? And see this belt over here that's coming off of it? Well, there's two spots for a belt on that pulley. The front one goes to your alternator, your power steering, all of the above, everything else on the engine. That right there is the AC compressor. It doesn't have a belt on it because that second rib back there is supposed to have a completely separate belt to run the AC. I probably should have looked at that before I bought like a $45 can of refrigerant. Okay, on to the next thing. We'll deal with that later. Smell goods. These are dragon fruit. I've never used dragon fruit before, so we're about to find out if they're any good. And in true Little Tree fashion, you can't just use one. Oh, come on. One is never enough. Oh, those are strong. Not bad, but strong. Can't just use 2. The little trees. You gotta use the whole pack. Now, I only bought a 3-pack because I didn't want 6 little trees hanging off my mirror. But it's always an option. Well, it smells great in here now. A little bit strong, but great. Okay, I once again am back. I have 6 foot of this wire, which does not look like near as much as you would think, and a serpentine belt for my AC. So let's go throw these on. Set it to auto, and the compressor seems to have clicked on. So let's see if we can get a reading out of it now. Still just says low. Okay, so I've been fooling with the AC for a while now. Doesn't seem like it's gonna come around. The gauge will read in the red, so I went ahead, I took the bottle, unscrewed it from the cap, unscrewed it from the gauge, and let it bleed out until it was in the green. But the AC is still not really getting cold. So if you know any reason that it might be not getting cold, I mean the clutch, the compressors, the wheels kicking on, all that good stuff. So if you know any reason why it might not be getting cold, go ahead and comment it down below. It'd be a big help. There is a couple more things I want to do, but again, I think I've ran out of time for today. So for me, it'll be tomorrow once again. I'm going to try to get this window tint off. It's really dark. In the back, it's actually like double tinted, and you can see where I've tried to peel some off before. I'm gonna get like maybe a hair dryer or something like that and heat it up and try to peel it off. As well as I'm gonna try to get the radio working. I've been thinking about that battery control switch, and I'm just not sure. I might still put it in, I don't know. But I do have some little toggle switches left over from an old project, so I might throw one of those in and just see if I can't get the radio working. But see you in a couple minutes. Alright, so it is yet again a new day on the Suburban. I was a little bit frustrated. I don't like doing electronics, and I didn't really get finished with some things yesterday, and I'm not going to start with those things. You gotta keep rolling sometimes. So I found some of this stuff laying around. It's not black spray paint, it's polyurethane clear protection, but it makes things shiny. So I have a plan. Okay, so first things first. People came and mowed the other day, so there was all kinds of grass on this. So just gonna take a cloth, wipe this down real good. I don't love the side steps on this thing. I think they're dumb for something that doesn't have a lift. But also the plastics are made for the side steps since they're factory. So if I took the side steps off, it would also look really dumb. So I'm just gonna leave them on here. For now at least. But alright, there's a buttload of traffic today. So I'm going to try to talk while nobody's coming, but it's just polyurethane, clear protection, levels to an even finish, resist scratching and whatever. So we'll see what it does. don't know how much you can tell on camera, but that actually looks really good. Hold on. If we come around here to the other side, that's what it looked like before. Very faded and whatnot. So, from that to that, I'll take it. Now to the other side. Okay, so, wait for this truck to go by. Now that I've gotten this other side done and it's all shiny and beautiful, I'm gonna come back to the electronics. So, my plan is, the battery shut-off switch itself, I was going to stick it inside, but this is going to be a family vehicle, not a race car. So there's just really no place I can put it where it doesn't look goofy and kind of dumb. So, that being said, back here, this fuse box covering is already broken and kind of jank, whatever, anyway, from the last person. So, I'm probably going to use these little self-tapper screws. Self-tap this in right here. Then I'll take this old battery cable that I have laying around. This is why you get the Marina batteries, guys. They have either post, you can do whatever you want. But I'm going to take this in and connect it to that post right there. I got to take that end and connect it to one of these stubbies, and on the other stubby I'll connect that, and it'll all work out perfectly. So let's get to that. I don't know. This isn't good. So this cord is really attached to the fuse box. Like right there. Oh, and the cord is black, but it's the positive cord. I didn't do this, but it will probably look the same if I did. Great! Don't touch that. Well, we're moving this thing now, so that's exactly as planned. As always. Never a mistake. Okay. Now there are two random holes in my fuse box casing for that reason. We'll be right back. Seems fine. Starting to look like I've worked on it. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this turned off, keep the key out of it, and let's go see if it'll turn on, if this worked. Absolutely nothing. Hit the key. I already see a light. Oh yeah. Gotta fix that speedometer. That's doing 10 miles an hour as soon as we start up, but seems to be working. Sweet. So I was pulling the Suburban up in front of the side of the house to adjust the headlights, as you do. And yeah, this thing really doesn't like me. You see, over there is a pole. I was looking over there at those little things that help keep the pole up and aligned. Didn't see the pole. I mean, on the bright side, I didn't like those taillights anyway. Maybe we can salvage some of these lenses. You ever just want to give up? So after picking up my mess and contemplating my life over a drumstick for a little while, I decided to get back to work. Okay, so ignoring all of that complete mess, if you'll see here, trying to adjust the headlights, we got the driver's side is like super high. Passenger side is probably about where it needs to be, maybe a little bit lower. So if you've never adjusted headlights before, there's just these little screws down in here that will kind of either pull in or push out on the top of the headlight. So I just got a little screwdriver bit. I have an extension so I can kind of come through this little brace cross member here and get to the actual screw. So I'm just going to be, right now I'm just trying to get them level. I'm going to try to bring the driver's side down to the passenger side. Alright, well it seems I've pretty much maxed out my adjustment. These are cheap headlights, so I kind of expected this to happen. I'm going to see if there's not another way that I can try to get these down. And it's not honestly that far that I need to go. Alright, that looks pretty good. It's starting to rain a little bit, so I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing next. But that looks pretty well adjusted. Okay, next up on the agenda is the radio. Now, if you'll remember, the radio doesn't really work unless I give it direct power to the battery itself. Nothing else in here. Everything else I try to connect it to, splice it off of, kind of messes with the wiring, messes with the computer, messes things up. And the factory wiring harness will ground it out, but it won't give it any power for whatever reason. So instead of jumbling my way through all that, toggle switch. I'm going to take toggle switch, put it probably right in this area-ish, just a little bit of hole, just have this top piece sticking out. That way when you get in the vehicle, you want to listen to radio, flick your little switch, you got radio. It's not the prettiest fix ever, but this is a lot easier to hide than that big old red battery disconnect. So let's get to that. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, gonna get this plastic piece off that we're going to be putting the toggle switch in, which means I've got to take this off. And you can tell I've done that quite a few times. All right, so that back apart, raise that back up. All right. So this probably, I think if I remember right, it has things up there, but it also has bolts down here. So let me grab, what is that? Sorry, I heard a supercharger. Probably an 8. If I remember right, most things on this interior have been 8s. I think that's right. Where's it at? Ah. No, it is not an 8 actually. It's smaller than that. Hold on. Gonna go down the sizes. It's a 7. It's weird. Alright. Alright, that's out. Save that. Is that all the bolts? I think so. Oof. Now this is out. Alright. So if we look at it, let's mark this up real quick. So let's throw it back on there like that. Alright, well, you know, like that. So this toggle switch, where are they? Toggle switch, we want it to be kind of hidden, but also not in the way of us. Want to drive. Think about there, it'll be good. I don't really have a marker with me, but having markers is a good idea. I think I'm just going to find the right size drill bit. Alright, come. Oh. Well, don't do that. That's fine. We'll find it. Immediately go to the biggest drill bit I have. That might be big enough. Anyway. So, what are we thinking? There. Because, I mean, we could do something more obvious, like up here or whatever, but again, not a race car, which is why I didn't put the battery disconnect anymore. So, probably do it more subtle. I'd say right there will be fine. So, make a little mark. Alright, we made our mark. Cool. Now let me find that washer thing I dropped and we'll get to work. Okay, so after far too much time, effort, and trouble, we got a working radio that works with this switch. Ta-da! Now to get the speakers working. So after completely rewiring the front speakers, self-tapping them in a little bit better, and taking my wife for a ride, the radio works. Pretty cool. Copyrighted. Alright. Okay, so next up on the list is this wheel. So as you can see, the other ones are pretty shiny. This one used to be on the back. I rotated the tires and it has really, really bad brake dust on it for whatever reason. Now I've already sprayed some of this oven cleaner on it, if you can tell, and it is starting to scrape off. So I've got my heavy duty oven cleaner, a rag, and this little scrubby brush that might do something. So let's get to work on this thing. gonna let this sit and eat at the really tough spots for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to probably pull it around to the water hose and wash it off really good. Okay, so we're almost done, but the one thing that I want to do, and that I've been wanting to do since I bought this Suburban, is make these plastics dark again. They've obviously faded in the sun. They may have never actually been black to begin with, but I think it would look better. It'll match our little touch-up job we did with the side steps, and well, I got black spray paint laying around. So I've seen people do this before. I've never done it myself, but I'm gonna try and just use this cardboard and be lazy basically and not take everything off, because that always works out. And I have a little bit of clear coat too, so it'll protect it. But let's get to work on that and see if we can't shine this thing up a little bit. Actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would. You can tell it's spray painted, but it's not gray. Alright, gonna do the rest of the truck. Alright guys, so here she is. She's all painted up, all dolled up. Cleaned up that wheel as best I could, and it's starting to rain, so I'm just gonna let the rain wash the wheel shine off. But she looks pretty good. She doesn't look good from 5 feet. She doesn't look that great from 15 feet. But if you stand back 20, 25 feet, she starts to look alright. See, the thing is, guys, your vehicles don't have to be perfect. Especially a $900 Suburban like this. You can see I'm still trying to peel the tint off. I need to get a hold of a heat gun or something. Like, they don't gotta be perfect. Just make them good enough. Good enough, right? Throw some cans of spray paint at them, give them what they need to get running and driving and be reliable on the road, and leave them alone. This is going to be a great daily driver for my wife and for my future family, and it doesn't look too bad. You can walk up to it, you can see the black bumpers, the black valence, the black plastics, the kind of shiny side steps. You can open the door. The seat's not ripped. It's not the same color, but it's not ripped. You can flick your little switch on the dash, get your radio going, and it's a good time. Like I said, they don't gotta be perfect. They just gotta be good enough. Thanks for watching today's episode of Online at Ham's Garage, and I will see you in the next one.